Okay, I'm live. So, since my last video, I noticed that I lost 2 subscribers. And so, I would like to say that if you don't like my truth, which is in the description box, and you don't like my stories, then please unsubscribe and don't resubscribe because I'm going to tell the truth about whoever and however I feel. So, the title is basically your house locks and 3 type of poisonings that gang stalkers use. This is based on my real life experience and what I have experienced and what I have seen in the house that I live in. So first of all, about the locks. When you get your new house, of course, you should change all the locks. That's common sense. Also, whenever you get your car fixed or your friend's car fixed, make sure you don't give them all the keys because they can go and make copy of the keys. Now, most mechanics might not, but nowadays, like I said, one time I left my keys on the little conveyor thing at the grocery store. Somebody said, "Oh, here's your keys." I'm like, "Oh yeah, thank you. I'm glad I didn't leave it." The next day they built a key copier in that same store. The next day, I'm telling you. So that just goes to show, as quick as you lose your keys, somebody can make a copy. If people are watching you and gang stalking you, then they can make a key and they'll be having access to your house, sell that access to other people, then you have a whole tour going on and you don't even know anything about it. Well, I'll probably know. So now the next thing is the garage. They have things where they can open the garage doors. They can be from a distance. They also have things where they can open your car, even if you have an alarm, and get your garage door. So 30 minutes leaving the car outside with your garage door opener is 30 minutes where they can steal it. They have stole that, and they've also stole a bag of groceries over here, and the door was locked to the vehicle and alarmed. Now, as far as the poisonings, the 3 type of poisonings that they have is okay, you have the yard poisoning. So basically, the yard people come and what they'll do is they'll sprinkle some stuff in your yard. I noticed that they were sprinkling something in the yard. It was like some green stuff and it was all on the sidewalk. And we kind of share the same lawnmower people. All of a sudden people are using the same people, and I noticed like that wasn't in anybody else's yard, but it was making me feel really sick. All of a sudden I started feeling sick, I started feeling extremely weak, and also the one that smells like horse manure, but this one was the one that was green, and it's just like it smells. So I asked the yard people, I said, "What is that green stuff that y'all are putting in the yard?" And he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Is it biodegradable? Is it non-GMO? Like, what is it?" And they were just like, they didn't really say anything. I don't remember, but they stopped using it after that. And I said, "Yeah, it's only in this yard. It's not in anybody else's yard." And I think that's weird. He didn't have no good reason what it was doing. It wasn't like it was on the spots that didn't have grass or anything like that. So then the other type of poisoning that they use is, and I feel like these are more uncommon. That's why I'm mentioning it. And you can feel sick and not know if you're the type of person who doesn't really pay attention that well. And you just think, "Oh, I just fell ill." Okay, no, pay attention to these things. Also, they have the type of poisoning that they put in the air or that they have like these little sachets. I have not found a sachet, but I believe that's what it is based on some incidences and scenes that have occurred. But also it has something that they put in the air or that they stash somewhere in your house. I don't know if it's in a wall or hidden somewhere or they sprinkle on the carpet. We don't have much carpet, but yeah. And so this thing, what it does is like when you smell it, it'll make you feel sick. It'll make your eyes red. It'll make you like feel kind of nauseous. It'll make you feel really, really weak. Like you could barely climb up the stairs type weak. But you go to the hospital and they'll be telling you, "Oh, nothing's wrong with you. Your electrolytes look really good. Everything's fine." But you're like, "Yeah, okay." I literally lost 20 pounds in 2 days. 40 pounds. I don't know what it was, but it was something, and I smelt it on people before. And it kept on happening. So I left this house that I lived in and went and lived somewhere else until it went away. So then the other type of poisoning that they use is they sneak in your house and they just put stuff randomly in your seasonings. Like they put stuff in your salt, something that you use a lot. That's why they watch you on the cameras and stuff wherever they have them hidden, because they like to see what you like to eat, what you like to, use consistently, and that's how they'll target your food. And so then you'll start feeling really sick. You'll start feeling like weak. You'll start feeling your chest will start hurting, and you won't know why your chest is hurting. And this is the thing. If you're a person who normally doesn't get sick, you don't feel none of that. You're always a relatively healthy person. Pay attention to that, especially when it's around the times where you're suspicious that somebody broke in because something looks different that wasn't like that before. So that's what they do. They put stuff in your salt. They put stuff in your flour. They put stuff in your sugar. Things, usually white things that they can crumble shit up in and disguise it and make it look like. Also, if you've ever watched some of these shows where people are getting sick and nobody knows why they're getting sick. I've seen that before. Like a person was putting even couples, people putting stuff in their husband and their wife's coffee, and they find hidden cameras showing it. They also found people putting stuff in people's sugar, salt, and flour, and then what they do is they try to get life insurance on you. So or what they do is they'll make you sick over a long period of time to make you think that like you're dying of cancer or something, or you have this terminally ill situation, but the whole time they've been putting something in your food and in your salt, and you're not aware that that's what they're doing. So also now about your locks. If you have any other type of locks, like locker locks, be careful that you if it has like a little code on it, the ones that you do like this and it has the code, make sure that you don't reveal the code anywhere that you think that there's cameras. Because if you're looking at your code in the house, then somebody else is looking at your code as well. Also, if you have one of those codes, be sure to shred it. Remember the number and shred it immediately after you use it. Because if you make the mistake, which I think this is what I did, and put it in your pocket, and then when you leave, somebody's going through your dirty laundry and they're going through your pocket to get those codes and to see, like, oh, this is the number. Now we'll be able to go and use that number and be able to open that person's belongings or whatever like that. And they suspect that you'll never know. That's the whole fun of the game for them. They'll suspect that you will never know and that they're really getting away with something, and that you're just going to be like suspicious, feeling gaslit, but you're not going to actually know what's happening. So better safe than sorry, get rid of it. So what I do is, and I know this is really hard when you're like, impoverished and you're broke, but by all means necessary, don't use that stuff. Like go get help. Go, it's better to beg for money if you have to than to like actually consume any of that stuff. So what I do is I literally get rid of all of that salt, all of the seasonings. I used to have a lot of seasonings that I seasoned foods with, but when I realized what these people were doing, I minimized it because I realized if I had to get rid of it, I don't want to be getting rid of like a lot of different seasonings that I threw away. So now I just keep it to a minimum, and right now I'm basically like, okay, if I feel like somebody's done something and my seasonings have been compromised, I throw them away. and I'm coming up with a new system that's going to work for me so that I can prevent that from happening. So, yes. Um, and basically, it will affect your sleep. So, when you're sleeping, you'll notice that weird things will be happening in your sleep, like motor disability. Like, I've noticed, like, when I was sleeping, I was like making like strange noises uncontrollably, like not like a bunch, but just like it'll be like or something, or like you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'll wake up out of my sleep because I could hear it. I'm like, why did I just make that sound? Like I didn't make that sound like on my own. It just like did it by itself. And I realized it has to be some type of symptom or effect of something that they're putting in my stuff to where like you like a glitch where like you do something uncontrollable, like where it's controlling your motor skills. But like it rarely did it, but it did it, and I noticed it. It did it a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, that seems like some type of medication type thing. Like somebody's putting something in my stuff. And then the chest pains, like I thought it was stress, and I think stress can do it, but I also think that stress with a combination of them putting something in your seasonings, that's gonna do it even more. I think that maybe they were putting something in my seasonings, and also when someone had broken the house before, I woke up and the back door was slightly open, all the way like slightly open. I would never do that. I check all the doors before I go to sleep, and I don't have it open. I felt really lethargic, like maybe somebody put a date rape drug in my drink or something. And so, and then they attempted to break in, like they felt like they knew I was gonna drink this or use this seasoning, and then I was gonna fall asleep. And I noticed I had gotten to a really deep sleep, and like where it's harder for you to wake up than normal. And they had broke in. When I woke up, they didn't break in, but the back door was open. I did have something up, so they couldn't really get in all the way. And I just felt lethargic, so I believe they put something in my seasoning, and that's why they felt like they could break in and do something to me or take something. I don't know why somebody would want to break in while I'm sleeping, but in 2017, there was an incident over here where a cop got shot in broad daylight and all this baloney and whatever, whatever. Somebody breaking into somebody's backyard. So I don't know. That whole situation was suspicious. Like I said, everybody evacuated before it even really happened. And I know I was still here. I didn't know anything about it. They said they texted everybody to leave the neighborhood. And I'm still wondering how the fuck you could text everybody about a criminal being in the neighborhood and something's happening and everybody evacuate quickly. Wouldn't that like cause an issue? I don't know. I just found that to be extremely suspicious that texts were being sent out for people to leave before a crime happened or during a crime or whatever. It was just weird to me. So watch out for your food. If there's, oh, also another poisoning that they do. I don't understand this one, but something they do with the food, which I mentioned before. I was buying a type of rice, and there were holes being poked in all the rices. I would go to Kroger's, I would go to Foodorama, I would go to different places that I go to, and I would see these holes in the rice, and the ones that I wanted specifically. The only one that I wanted that it didn't have holes in was the basmati rice, which is like an Indian type of rice. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll use this one, but I wanted the other ones because they were nice rices and they were more affordable. And so then I started eating these sardines. And I mentioned this to the store people, but I started eating these sardines and they were really good. They were beautiful. The skin was on it. The sardines looked great. So then, just like the rice I was saying, my friend brought some one day and it had holes poked on the little metal aluminum. I said, nah, something's wrong with that. The holes is popping back up again on the product. That shit poisoned. He laughed, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're just tripping. So I'm like, no. So I was like, okay, I'm going to eat it anyway. I'm going to act like I'm a normal person and nothing's wrong and I'm just being paranoid. And I ate it. And I kept consuming it. And then one day I woke up and my whole eye was swollen. I know I did a video back and I showed y'all and I was like, I thought it was something else. But my eye was swollen. Then I woke up. I slept in different rooms thinking that it was the bed, the environment. I thought maybe it was some bugs I couldn't see because we got a cat outside, but it never comes inside. I bought all type of stuff to clean the house. Nothing was working. And then I went and I slept in another spot and my whole lip got swollen. So my eye was swollen and my lip was swollen, and that has never happened to me before. So I got kind of scared and I was like, and I was watching that girl, what's that girl, Candy Grand Prix, and she was saying something about bed bugs. So I immediately started itching. And I thought, man, what, I thought it was like something like that, or like, but I'm like, I don't got no bed bugs and I know what they look like. I've never had those. And so God told me, like, this is just how I talk. I say, God told me, something told me, my intuition told me, like, what have you been doing differently? I said, I've been eating them sardines. Like, stop eating the sardines and see what happens. So, oh, by the way, these sardines, the skin was torn off of them. It looked like some type of chemical had tore them the fuck up. And like I said, the ones I was buying at first, the can looked right. There were no holes on the can to like mark them, like the marks of the beast. And they were whole and beautiful. These other ones, the skin had been peeled off and those holes were poked on the top. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just eat it. And that's what happened. When I stopped eating it, the allergic reaction went away. My eye wasn't swollen anymore. My lip wasn't swollen anymore. It was the sardines. So my thing is, who's poking holes on products that they don't want people to use and trying to get a unfair advantage on other products? Because if you see that something's wrong with that, you're gonna go buy the other one, right? And then also, who's putting holes in products that, I was using at the time? Now they moved from the rice to the sardines. And now the sardines are ruined and they don't look good and they're a cheaper price. If you've seen the sardines, they catch those millions of them at a time and they all look good when they catch them. So how is that happening? So I feel like somebody was targeting the products that I was getting. That you can call it paranoia, intuition, or apprehension, whatever you want to call it. But I was very cautious of that. And so when I go to the grocery store, I hate when people are trying to look in my cart. And I've had people who purposely look in my cart when I'm checking out. They'll wait. Now I know the normal thing, like, okay, some people are gonna look, I look every once in a while, oh, what did they get? But these people, it's like they got their phones out, they have all their stuff at the register, like the self-checkout, and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot this, but they're standing there talking to somebody on their phone and they're watching me ring up everything. They haven't went to go get their stuff, but they're watching me ring up everything that I'm doing. And I've seen that a couple of times where it's like, I feel like they're deliberately watching everything that I get. And like the other day, I went to the grocery store, I went to Kroger's, this Kroger's that creeps me out, but it's nearby. And I bought two things that I buy to make this type of thing that I make, but I didn't buy the main thing. And the lady mentioned it. She's like, oh, you're not, she's like, oh, I didn't get this. And that's the main product of what I would have bought to go with it, like trying to tell me. But I looked for that product there and it didn't look right. It looked weird. So I didn't get it on purpose. But it's like they're trying to encourage me to get certain things and control me to get certain products and like try to monitor what products I buy and like weird stuff. Like they're trying to get me to eat certain stuff and they're trying to monitor and track what I'm eating, when I'm eating. And I feel like it ain't for no good reason. I feel like they're trying to put something in something that I eat. and then try to have me eat it like it came off the shelf and, oh, we don't know what happened. It's in the grocery store. Everybody was suspect to it or whatever like that. But nah, I feel like something else going on. And the other example is this salad that I was eating. I think it was called like Taylor Farm salad or whatever. And they had this really good salad with like this Dijon type dressing. And I was mentioning how I didn't want onions anymore. I hated onions. There was no onions in this dressing. When I get back the next time to get this salad, they chop little bitty onions all in the dressing, which is so nasty. I don't know who does that. And so I was like, that's extremely weird. So then I went to another store, a different brand store, and I bought it again to see if it was like that in that salad. And that salad, at Kroger's, they had the onions in it. At the other place I went, Walmart, they didn't have the onions in it. So I was like, how is it the same salad, the same dressing packaged, the same distributor, but the dressing is completely different? One has onions chopped in it and the other one doesn't. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. How does that happen? Like, it's crazy. And that's why I said, I have to like darn near record me eating my food, record everything I buy, which again is asking me to be extremely personal and kind of do what I don't want to do. Is like have people all in my business. But then at the same time, I want to prove to people what I'm seeing so people don't be like, oh, she's tripping, she's crazy. No, this stuff really be happening to me and I really be seeing it and I be like, it's crazy. That's insane. How is that happening? So just be careful because it's a lot of things going on with people's locks, their securities. And if you live with someone who doesn't believe in all that stuff going on, I think hopefully you have enough power or authority to change all the locks and, get everything monitored, get cameras in the house. Because if people are trying to say, I need to be monitored because of this and that, how do I need to be monitored when I'm the one trying to put cameras around the house and in the house? That don't sound like somebody who's got something to hide. So watch your locks and watch these 3 ways that people poison people. Make sure you change all your locks. And I would change them periodically, like, or anytime you feel like something's been compromised. And don't give it to your mechanic by mistake. It's just not something you should do. Even if you trust your mechanic, you just shouldn't do that. You just give them the car key. Some people are like, well, duh, but it's an easy mistake to make. You just have your house key and you give them all the other keys. Then the next thing is if you left your key at a grocery store or something, and people may be following you and know where you're staying, these people make copies of keys and no telling what they got going on, because this is what something was telling me in my mind. They could be spreading your key around and opening up your house is like some tour, showing everybody, oh, look, this is all the clothes they got. Oh, look, this is the stuff they use for this. Oh, look, this is their dirty laundry. You know what I'm saying? Just having like a parade or whatever. Oh, you want me to show you something? Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, you can even make money like that. Yeah, give me a couple bucks and I'll open the door for you and stuff like that. Oh, well, are they gonna know that we're doing something? No, we got tracks on them. We got this on lock. We got tracks on their cars. We got tracks on their phones, so we know where they're gonna be. And then those wicked people be like, oh yeah, okay. They get all interested in stuff because that's the type of people they are. So then with the poisoning, watch the lawn people. Make sure they're not sprinkling something in your yard. And watch how you feel. Um, your seasonings, your flour, your sugar. If you start feeling any type of difference while you're awake, a lot of the symptoms will probably show up in your sleep. So because that's when your body's able to like settle down and really work everything. And so you're going to see a lot of things during that time. When you're up and moving about, it's easy for you to ignore things that are going on with your body. You might not even notice. It might not even kick in until you go to sleep or whatever like that. So, or it's just like you're pushing through it and you don't even know. But when you're sleeping, everything operates different. So it just depends, and everybody's different. I can't tell you how to be on this day or that day. Everybody's different. God might change it for you for some reason, but this is just what I'm saying now. So watch that, and also smells. If you smell something weird, if your eyes start to change and they start getting red, if you start feeling a weakness or something like that, sometimes you need to remove yourself from the place that you're in and get away. Because I've noticed, like, when I'm not in this house, I was feeling much better. Like, I wasn't feeling none of them symptoms. I could go somewhere else and go to sleep and I won't feel any of them symptoms. I don't eat that shit that I think they did something to, and I don't feel any of those fucking symptoms. That's how I know. I test. There's a consistent variable and a variable. That's what you do when you're doing the what they call that? Whatever, trial and method. Hypothesis. When you're doing your hypothesis, you test something, you experiment something, you say, I think that this is happening because of this. And then you do your three, tests on it and you see, what it is and why. You have the constant. The constant is, okay, I'm going to do this constantly. And the variable is whatever you're going to basically be changing in order to help prove the test. Okay, so it's all scientific basically to me. Now the distress and the stress, that's a hard one because it's like you kind of have to be doing other things right all the time and then seeing what people are doing and how people are treating you after that, and then still see if you're getting all that stress, how it's affecting your body. Because I literally just thought that stress with stress, words for words, like people piss you off, you get upset, you get angry. I never really associated stress from things that people were doing emotionally and mentally to a person as something that can manifest into the physical. I never really believed that, but whatever I've been going through lately has caused me to start to believe that. Whether it's true or whether it's not, I know it's true because if somebody keeps bothering you and blah, 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 you're going to get a headache. I know that if somebody keeps pushing at you and pushing at you and pushing at you, it make you so sick that you want to throw up. So I know this stuff is true. Um, I just want to really put it out there to help protect people that are being gang stalked, individuals that live by themselves, or individuals who have friends that may travel and you don't have kids or people to stay home all the time, and maybe your neighbors aren't that neighborly. They don't help keep you safe. Maybe if people manipulate your cameras and things like that. Like, I just want to help people feel more safe and be able to protect themselves more. Also, if you live in an apartment, I'm really sorry if you're not able to change the locks on your doors. I feel like you should be able to change the locks on your doors because at the end of the day, those people have the power to sit there, wait, or monitor you and make sure that you pay the damn rent regardless. And they also have the power to call the police on you and to make sure that those actions are executed, what they're asking of you. So to be able to at least protect yourself and have a lock on the door, especially if you're a good tenant, then I think that that's appropriate. Now, people may have other reasons that they feel are good why you shouldn't, but it's just not a situation I like to put myself in. Also, with roommates, be very careful with the roommates because you have roommates that are jealous and crazy and they do things to your belongings as well. So I feel very bad for people who have to be in a situation like that where they don't trust a person. Like I said, this isn't just about talking about how horrible my neighborhood is and how horrible these witches are that are doing witchcraft. It's not just about that and exposing the truth about what people are doing to other people out here that aren't bothering them. It's about safety and protecting people, and it's like your social responsibility to help other people and to make sure that people can live and feel safe. If the enemy can live and feel safe, then other people should be able to as well. And that's basically my purpose here in these conversations like this, is to help protect people that are being gang stalked. And that's it. Thank you.